Welcome. Today I'm going to be playing with the Support System palette from StarGem Cosmetics in collaboration with Jersey Unicorn 82, aka Jen. She collaborated with StarGem on this palette as well as previous highlighters I've used in the past. And today we are going to be using these two colour correctors from StarGem Cosmetics. This shade is Emerald, this shade is Amethyst, and I'll be using these as eye bases to do these two looks. Hope you enjoy watching this video and enjoy watching how I created these two looks. I'll start with Amethyst, this beautiful green, and I'll put that all over the eyeball. So this eye I want to have as a round eye look. So I'll actually apply the shadow base, in this case it's the colour corrector from StarGem. I'm going to place this in the shape of the look itself that I'm going for, and I'll pat this out and try and keep that shape as much as possible. Obviously this will be having eyeshadow go over the top of it, but I like keeping the shape as much as possible. One of my StarGem Crystalline brushes. This one is just a kind of fluffy brush that's a bit more flat, but it's still nice and fluffy for blending. First go in with this lighter shade named Journey. I'm going to kind of first stamp it on in the shape of how I applied this concealer slash base in this case, and then start gently sweeping along those edges of where I stamped. Start blending it around. Also bringing that colour along the lower lash line, build up some of that colour on the inner corner area. We'll be in a minute going into a deeper shade to start deepening up further too. I just want to have a nice opacity of this shade on the lid as well. I'll be using a non-StarGem brush. I'll be going in with a Morphe and use the shade Live Life, which is this darker green. This is more like a pointed pencil blending brush. Specifically, this is the Morphe M321 on this outer corner area, just to get it extra depth. And place a little bit of that same shade on the inner corner area, again to build up that depth and opacity. This is kind of like a halo eye, but lazy. This shimmer shade here called Fearless, I'm going to use this on the inner corner area, so just on this very small pencil brush from Morphe. This is a Morphe E37. Just slightly drag it along the lower lash line area, especially into the centre where we didn't put too much of the darker green matte down. And I'll also run the smallest little bit of this along what is the edge of this, which I consider is like my brow bone highlight area. But instead of drawing a brow in any capacity, I just highlight, and it gives this nice beautiful illusion of a kind of brow area that's defined, but it's just with shimmer. And now, last but not least, using the highlighter Idunn on this really big pencil brush from Morphe. This is a Morphe M577. It's a giant pencil brush. I'm just going to pat this over that kind of faux halo area that blends over the top of that matte that we placed down. If you don't mind having a very shimmery lid, which I personally do not mind at all. I'm just going to go back in with that Morphe M321, go back into the shade Live Life, and I'm just going to reinforce that depth in the inner corner without going over the inner corner highlight, and then also do the same thing on that outer corner. Kind of doing a way where it's curving around that highlighter to again reinforce that illusion of it being a halo eye. I'll pause this, come back, and I'll be applying the StarGem Asteria liner off camera, and I'll come back with showing you what this looks like after doing the liner. I'll also put pencil eyeliner in the waterline, do my mascara and lashes for this eye, and then we'll move on to the purple. So I'm back, I've got my lashes on. I've actually just applied some blush, and I'm going to do some fun little bit of highlighting, but the highlighting I plan on doing is very intricate, so I'm like, why not film it? So I'm first be going in with this shade of highlighter from StarGem called Sunrise. This I'll be just using at the very top where I've placed this blush, so like up in here. I'll be diffusing it with my fingy, patching in the rest of my brush. To finish off this side of the face, I'll be dipping back into that Idunn shade. I'm going to take the smallest little bit that's on this brush. I'm going to actually pat some of it off the back of my hand. So I've got the smallest little bit, pat some of this Idunn over the top. and it'll only just be slight enough that I'll get a slight little bit of a discoloration, but I don't really care that much because it's just the slightest bit. But you get this beautiful crystally blue that blends into this sunrise that's up here, and it becomes this nice beautiful merge into that blush. And that's pretty much how I'm going to dress this eye look. So this is the first eye using the green base Amethyst. I did also use a little bit of this darker shade Warrior along the lower lash line to just reinforce a little bit of the depth against where I put some white pencil eyeliner along the waterline. This one, the purple, I'm going to have a bit more snatched out compared to the first look. Generally is this beautiful duochrome. So that duochrome will be going on the lid alongside this peachy keen shade, and I'll also be using probably Tell-It. We'll see how it goes as I play along. So again, like I did with the green side, I will paint on this base in the shape of the look itself. Obviously it will blend out a bit further, but if you lay the base in kind of the shape that you're originally going to go for, makes it a lot easier keeping that shape and blending everything into that shape. This, funnily enough for me, is easier to blend into my skin tone as I'm so pale. So now, as you can see, I've got the purple going, so it kind of snatches out a bit. I'm going to go into Peachy Keen, pack it on both sides. I use along my lower lash line. I place kind of like the bristles to begin with and start giving myself that wing shape with the shadow. So I'm just going to go along these edges, blend it out a bit, but this time obviously this is a lot more blown out and winged out. So I'm going to do a mixture of Peachy Keen and Tell-It on the same brush. Pick up a fair bit of Tell-It because I want it to pastelise Peachy Keen. Start blending this on the inner corner area so we get a nice really soft baby pink. Also help use this to just set along where I crease naturally, because obviously as this is a concealer it's going to crease a little bit. Most, if not all, eye bases will crease in some capacity if you don't set it. If it's a thicker base, and as this is a thicker consistency, just want to make sure you do set it all. This is a very monochromatic look. I'm going to take this other StarGem Crystalline brush, dipping into that duochrome shade. Generally, you can build it up, but I don't want it to be a strong colour on the lid. I want it to be a very soft one, because in the centre of the lid I'm going to put the highlighter shade Twilight down. I'm going to take this kind of angled crystalline brush, the darker shade Warrior, and I'm just going to, along the lash line, build up some depth. I know this is going a bit all over the place, but I sometimes like to do that. I'm going to kind of pull it along where my waterline kind of ends and where the lid begins. I'm just doing a mixture of the pink and the black shade and wing it out. I'm grabbing the highlighter shade and I'm going to paint that on the lid. Put a little bit over where I put the duochrome to give that blend into where I'm putting the highlighter shade. Now I'm going to go back in with this pencil type Morphe E37, and this time I'll be grabbing this Be Bold silvery shade from the palette, and this will be going in the inner corner. I'm just going to stamp a little bit of that Warrior shade along the lash line. So I'll turn off the camera, do eyeliner, and then come back again with wing and all that done, and we will conclude this video. I know it's looking a little bit interesting at the moment, just wait, it will pull together. And now this is what this eye is looking like. Told you it would kind of come together. So I drew some pretend fake lower lashes using the Asteria Eyeliner, as well as doing a nice fun wing. Used the same lashes that are on this side. The lashes I used are from MUC Cosmetics in the style Furry. Use my code in the description box below to purchase from their website and save 10% off. Now, for this side, I want to have a little bit of a different pop of highlighter shade, so I'm going to use from the Memories of Mia collection called Whiskey A Go-Go. In a very small little amount. It's a bit of a stronger colour of a highlighter, but it blends in with my blush quite nicely. Just makes it all cutesy. And there we go. My two different eyes using the StarGem Cosmetics support system palette, which is in collaboration with Jersey Unicorn 82, Gorgeous Jen, and using these two colour correctors from StarGem Cosmetics. Yes, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. Love hearts to you from Australia. Bye!